Audi first commenced creation of the Q3 extravagance subcompact hybrid in 2011 for the 2012 model year, lining it up with a progression of invigorates in 2014 and 2015. Additionally offered as a couple of tuned renditions from Audi Sport GmbH under the SQ3 and RS Q3 terminology, it looks just as the Four Rings is equipping to discharge a second era for the Go Quicker Q3s, as confirmed by this arrangement of government agent shots demonstrating a highly contrasting test donkey out on the town for some pinnacle huntin' at the Nürburgring. This time around, next to no has changed physically. Camo has been dropped from the rooftop, yet that is not of any genuine significance. The back fumes outlets are likewise lifted higher into spot like they're prepared for generation tips. Yet, that is not by any stretch of the imagination significant either. What's significant are the reports that we got with these photographs, and that will be that the RS3 gone by just before the RS Q3, and when it did it let out that equivalent lovely fumes note. That implies that we're taking a gander at rather intense inline 5. It ought to convey somewhere in the range of 400 strength, which ought to be all that anyone could need control. It additionally has bigger brakes with board-fired plates and 6-cylinder calipers. That implies that this model is, in fact, the RS Q3 and not the lesser SQ3. Expect an introduction at some point in the following 9 months or sooner, considering the way that this thing looks damn close generation prepared. For one thing, we should make reference to that we're uncertain whether the Q3 test donkey imagined here is the SQ3 or RS Q3. While it may have quad fumes tips in the back like you'd anticipate from the SQ3 form, Audi's RS models commonly get an oval fumes tip plan. The enormous brakes make them think this is really the RS. We'll dig more into detail on the plugs in an up-and-coming segment, yet until further notice, we'll state that the colossal plates and calipers we see here are certainly too enormous for anything short of the most sultry of the hot Q3, regardless of whether you incorporate the likelihood of some discretionary exhibition bundle for the SQ3. In any case, both the SQ3 and RS Q3 will accompany bigger wheels than the standard Q3 models, with the S getting 19 inches and the RS getting 20 inches. First of all, the design will envelop an expansive, level arrangement of surfaces, with high-mounted atmosphere control vents and on a level plane-mounted data sources. We additionally anticipate that the essential touchscreen should be descended lower, moving from high on the dash and rather finding a spot on the principal focus stack. Underneath this will be the atmosphere control inputs, which will be made out of a lot of hard catches and handles, as opposed to the two-layered setup we've seen on models like the A8 or Q8. Clients will be charmed by the completely advanced instrument bunch, otherwise called the Audi Virtual Cockpit, which will touch base as a trade for the standard simple measures and small driver's data screen we see on the Momentum model. It's questionable whether this will come as standard gear or as an accessible alternative, yet it would bode well to offer it as an accessible choice on the SQ3 and standard hardware on the RS Q3. With the standard Q3 arranging for an uncover later in 2018, we expect the SQ3 and RS Q3 to hit the market for the 2020 model year. First out the entryway will be the SQ3, which will see an introduction about a year after the standard model's huge sheet pull. Purchasers will have a lot of choices to browse with regards to equipping theirs to taste, for example, overhauled programmed security highlights, path direction, dynamic voyage control, and so forth, updated route gear, and a redesigned Bose stereo, also huge amounts of trim bits for both the inside and outside styling. At long last, the die-hard speed sweethearts out there will need to go for the performance bundle. With respect to estimating, we thoroughly consider a little increment the current MSRP bodes well, maybe as much as £3,000 contrasted with the present model. For the present, the RS Q3 begins at £44,785, $60,661 at current trade rates.